Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 21st of November. I'm going to outline what we can collectively expect this week, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail each of the signs from Aries through to Pisces, which you can watch from the perspective of your sun or your ascendant if they are different. Now, as this week begins, Mars and Pluto end a really difficult, tense relationship which began on the 11th of October. This may not be particularly perceptible, but of course Mars is in the sign of Gemini, which is very much about strident opinions. It's in retrograde now, and it is being drained by the very dreamy, drifting and watery vibe of Neptune, and that does continue all this week. But Mars and Pluto are the two rulers of Scorpio, so there's been a huge amount of intensity washing around our situations. And the great news is that as we come into this week, on Tuesday, the Sun arrives in the sign of Sagittarius, where it joins up with Venus and Mercury that relocated last week. So it really is a case of a Sagittarius season. But of course, the sign of Sagittarius is very much about expansion, optimism, positivity, travel, higher education. It can be to do with international boundaries. And we do have a new moon which occurs on Wednesday. And this new moon is going to be squaring up the ruler of the sign of Sagittarius, Jupiter, which is in the other sign it governs of Pisces, but has been in a retrograde. Now that goes direct later on the day of the new moon, which is something to really celebrate. So through to the 20th of December, Jupiter is going to be making its way through the sign of Pisces, and then it moves back into the sign of Aries. If you would like to check out this Jupiter transition, please look out for my special deep dive video, which you can see in the links beneath this video. But this energy, this exuberance that Jupiter brings through its rulership of Sagittarius and Pisces, but because Jupiter is in a right angle, despite it coming to the end of its retrograde, does mean I feel that because the Sun, Mercury and Venus are in house 9 for us all, that's very much about the amplification of energy, whereas Jupiter is in house 12, very sensitive, very psychological, very much more to do with the hidden sphere. So I feel that whatever we're feeling, good or bad, it's going to feel that much more intense. But generally, I think there's going to be a much lighter and more vibrant vibe doing the rounds, which is really great. Also, Jupiter is going to be forging an extremely helpful angle with Pluto. This sextile goes through the whole of this week. And if we really want to be productive in terms of being more on the front foot, as long as we're listening to how things feel, because of Jupiter being very close to Neptune, the two rulers of the sign of Pisces, very much about that more spiritual, emotional dimension. As long as we tune into how things feel, we can use Jupiter's positivity with the productivity that Pluto brings around an appetite for change and transformation. So something can shape up in a very big and dynamic way this week. It could be that we're going to see some better news about international affairs. Let's all hope so. It's also possible that if for whatever reason in your particular locality COVID restrictions have meant mixing and mingling or moving around freely have been rather limited, I think things can free up somewhat more over the following month. And in general, this is a great opportunity to celebrate different ways of looking at life, downloading more information, becoming much more invested in facts and truth, because Jupiter at its best through its rulership as Sagittarius, is very much about that. Now, if you would like to ascend above this zodiac broadcast and understand what year 2023 will hold for you, please see the link beneath this video where you can order your personal forecast based on your time, date and place of birth. No two forecasts are the same. They're all absolutely individual to the data that they're prepared upon. If you order it now, you get the last part of 2022 free, and also my special package. You can also get your life roadmap or your character analysis, which will help you to understand some of the patterns that have been repeated in your life, but also help you to understand how to seize upon your talents and qualities in a much more successful way. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for joining me. If you would care to subscribe, please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. If you're already an ongoing viewer, thank you so much for all your views. So Scorpio, your week commencing the 21st of November forecast sees the end of an attritional angle between your two rulers, which began on the 11th of October. If you found that conversations, whether it's with neighbours, siblings, around your basic principles and ideals, have proved to be quite stressful during that period of time, it really wouldn't be a surprise. And of course, Tuesday sees the sun make its way from your sign into Sagittarius. So the transition there is about coming into your power in terms of your self-worth. It can, in a practical sense, see you becoming much more conscious of finances, but of course that's something we're all grappling with at the moment. So this is a collective energy. But the fact that Jupiter, the planet of opportunity, goes direct in the most sensational part of your scope on Wednesday, on the back or just after the new moon, which occurs in your second house, does suggest that any ideas that you have been percolating over the last month, or any new energy or new strands which have really excited you, can start to gain more traction, and you can start to see those shoots coming up from the ground, which can be really encouraging. Now, it is true that Venus and Mercury are in a combination all this week, and I feel that can, I'm choosing my words very carefully, can be fortunate. And I know that some correspondents are saying that it's been very difficult for Scorpios around finances for some while. I can't promise that this is going to see some kind of jackpot moment occur in your life, but I think it could help you to see the benefits that you do have in your situation in a more philosophical or spiritual way, but also it can see you becoming much more appreciative of the things that do give you a sense of security. Now, equally, your ruler, or your modern ruler Pluto, does forge an amazing link with Jupiter this week. So if you are wanting to be a bit more daring with those ideas, where you may have met with a certain amount of resistance since the 11th of October, now I feel that other people are going to be much more receptive to what you have to say and what you have to offer.